Good afternoon guys, it's Bharat Nagpal for iGyaan.in, and today we're going to be checking out the Micromax Canvas Doodle 2 versus the Samsung Galaxy Mega 5.8. Now in theory both of these devices are similar, but their specs are quite a lot different. So if we talk about the Micromax Canvas Doodle 2, we have a 5.7 inch 1280 by 720p display, a MediaTek 6589 chipset which runs at 1.2 GHz on quad cores, a PowerVR SGX 544MP GPU, 1GB of RAM and 16GB of storage. On the flip side, if we talk about the Galaxy Mega 5.8, it has a larger 5.8 inch display. It is powered by a dual-core 1.4 GHz Broadcom CPU along with the VideoCore 4 GPU. The display is a 5.8 inch, so you get 0.1 inch extra 540 by 960 pixel resolution, so you have a really low 190 pixel per inch pixel density. On the inside, however, we have 1.5 GB of RAM, 8 GB of storage, and you can put in a micro SD card up to 64 GB. This option is missing on the Canvas Doodle 2. An 8 megapixel rear camera and a 1.9 megapixel front-facing camera finish off the Galaxy Mega. If you remove the back panels on both these devices, you'll see that the Samsung Galaxy Mega 5.8 has dual SIM card slots, so as the Micromax Canvas Doodle 2. But the Mega also has a removable battery and an expandable micro SD card slot, which takes in an additional 64 GB, giving you a total of 72 GB of storage capability on the device. If you look at the system information on the inside, you can see we have the ARM v7 processors on both these devices, 1.4 GHz on the Mega and 1.2 GHz quad core on the Canvas Doodle 2. 1.5 GB of RAM versus 1 GB of RAM. If you look at the display, we have a QHD display on the left, whereas an HD display on the right. The DPI resolution shows that 320 by 320 on the right is definitely better. We have different GPU units on left and right, and in terms of the sensors, you can see we have a lot more sensors on the Galaxy Mega 5.8 versus just a couple of sensors on the Canvas Doodle 2. Let's quickly run a quadrant benchmark to compare these two devices. Now, if you take a look at the results, the Micromax Canvas Doodle 2 scores in just a little bit more than the Galaxy Mega 5.8. The Doodle 2 gets 3970, whereas the Mega 5.8 gets 3807. Now, if we take a look at the basic user interface, we have 4.2.2 Android on the left and 4.2.1 Android on the right. But as you can see, on the left we have Samsung's TouchWiz user interface, whereas on the right we have more or less a vanilla user interface with a couple of customizations that have been done by Micromax. If you just look at the task manager, you can see that additional options are available at the bottom of the display, whereas none are available on the Micromax Canvas Doodle 2. Fluidity on both these devices seems equally good or bad. However, we feel that transitioning between pages is slightly smoother on the Samsung TouchWiz user interface. Again, with the all app list, Samsung deploys a completely transparent sort of grid, whereas the Micromax applies a opaque sort of grid. Let's quickly jump into the settings panel. I'll show you the quick difference between both of them. As you can see, Samsung has even skinned the settings panel. You do get a basic tab layout over there. The difference between operating system versions is on either side. You can see those, and Samsung allows you to update the device over the air, whereas with Micromax you'll have to connect it via a cable and use a tedious process to update your OS. If you look at the browsers on both these devices, both are equally fluid and responsive, so no complaints in the browsing capabilities on both these devices. Pinching in, pinching out, and panning both are equally good or bad. We do feel that the color reproduction on the display on the Canvas Doodle 2 is slightly better. We get deeper blues and deeper blacks, as well as the fact that the pixel density is also definitely higher thanks to the HD display versus a QHD on the Samsung Mega 5.8. So definitely a big difference when it comes to the display capabilities and the display quality. Now the Micromax Canvas Doodle 2 is going to start retailing for a price of about 19,900 rupees. Or about $310 US, whereas the Galaxy Mega 5.8 is available for 22,000 rupees in the Indian market, or about $340 US. Both of them unlocked and ready to use. Both have dual SIM card capabilities, but both at a time can run only one 3G data connection, and the other can be a 2G voice calling card. If you look at the keyboard layout, you get a customized Samsung TouchWiz keyboard, which allows you to have a swipe sort of input, which in some cases is good, in some cases is bad, as in this case. If you switch from portrait to landscape, you'll see that both these devices have a nice and wide flat layout, and both the keyboards look really nice on the screen. They're easy to use. Both these devices come with multi-touch screens. The Galaxy Mega 5.8 has a really nice and responsive touchscreen. The Canvas Doodle 2 has a 10-point multi-touch screen, which is also fantastic. The Galaxy Mega can also be used in landscape mode while on the home screen, whereas you can't do that with the Doodle 2. If you look at video playback on both these devices, more or less both of them are equal. Audio quality on the Samsung Galaxy Mega 5.8 is slightly better, but viewing angles and color reproduction on the Canvas Doodle 2 is definitely a lot better. You can see that you have impressive viewing angles on the device, no darkening, even at 180 degrees almost. And we're pretty happy with the way the display is laid out on the Canvas Doodle 2. It's a nice and large display and does not pixelate and does not fade away as it does on the Galaxy Mega 5.8. The last thing we're going to check out are cameras. The cameras on the Canvas Doodle 2 are a 12 megapixel snapper and a 5 megapixel front facing camera. The rear camera is pretty good, and we found that picture capability is pretty nice. However, low light conditions, the photographs are not very crisp and in focus, whereas with the Samsung Galaxy Mega 5.8 we saw that images clicked in low light are also pretty much in focus. The camera capture capability of the Mega is also faster versus that of Micromax's capability, but the overall image composition seemed to be better on the Mega 5.8. In conclusion, both these devices have a little bit of give and take. The Micromax Canvas Doodle 2 comes with a fixed storage, a non-removable battery, a unibody metal back, and an HD display, whereas the Mega does not have a unibody back and does not have an HD display, but does have expandability via micro SD card and also has a replaceable battery. So pros and cons over there. The Galaxy Mega 5.8 also comes with TouchWiz, great service and support, and software updates over the air, whereas with Micromax there are some service issues. There are some support issues, as well as you don't get OTA updates. You will need to connect your device and run through a tedious process. So which one are you guys getting? Please let us know in the comment section below. Do check out iGyaan.in for more details on the Canvas Doodle 2. And do catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/iGyaan, youtube.com/iGyaanTV. For iGyaan Networks, this has been Bharat Nagpal. Thank you guys for watching.